UFC this week? No problem. We got you covered. Welcome in to Combat Coach, powered by At The Coach Picks. Every single week, there's a big card in Bellator, in UFC, or in PFL. We are the betting gurus. That's what we do. Ian Parker, how are you this week, sir?
I'm good. No rest for us, Coach. No UFC, no problem. Bellator, PFL, we're here for it. Let's go.
Let's go. So we're going to do Combat Coach a little bit different. We're going to focus on the PFL, give them the respect since we are part of the broadcast on Friday night, ESPN Plus, and then 4 fights on ESPN 2. Now, there are 6 fights on ESPN Plus that we're just going to be brutally honest. They have been adding a lot throughout. So we're just going to do a parlay from ESPN Plus and then really focus on the 4 fights that are in the playoffs. Playoffs? All right. Playoffs. All right. So let's jump right in. There are 3 fights that I know that you've seen on the ESPN Plus card that you say, you know what? Numbers may not be where we like on a straight bet, but what about a 3-way parlay? Talk to me.
Absolutely. We're going to start off with OAM. Olivier Aubin Mercier coming off a huge win over Marcin Held where he was an underdog, flipped the script. Now he's a big favorite. Look, we saw in his last fight, he was fought with a very high level IQ. He used his striking to set up the grappling. He stayed away from the heel hooks and the leg locks of Held, secured the win. We like him here. We're going to go with Gleison Tibau coming off his win over Rory MacDonald. However, I'm a big fan of Tibau. I've liked him forever. He's good everywhere. And I think that his opponent taking this on short notice really helps out Tibau here. He'll be the second part of the parlay. And last but not least, Umalatov. He should be better everywhere also, as long as he doesn't get clipped or lose position, which normally he does not do. I think he's the third leg of the parlay here, Coach. And at plus, I believe, 159, we're going to get a lot of value out of these 3 favorites on the ESPN Plus card, and that's what we're going to do for the parlay.
Yeah, it's right around that plus 160 mark. You're absolutely right about that. And follow Ian Parker on social media because you never know when he may throw out an extra play or 2 as we get closer to the actual fight time. Now, let's get to ESPN 2. There are 4 fights. This is about the lightweights and the welterweights. This year, it's very, very different than in years past in the PFL. No longer 8 fighters make it to the playoffs. It's only 4. That means that each fighter that's made it to the playoffs so far, just 2 wins away from $1 million in October. So let's really lock in on the lightweights first. Razabov is a minus 165 favorite. Martinez coming back at plus 145. What do you like in this first playoff matchup?
This is a rematch from the first time they fought in this same season. And Alex Martinez, who was relatively unknown, I believe started off 7-0 in this season. He got the split decision win. It was his constant output with strikes, even off his back. He kept moving forward. He just didn't stop. And Razabov just didn't see that coming. And then what we saw in the second fight, you know, Razabov came out with a knockout win very quickly, which was unexpected. Martinez, as we've seen in both fights, he could take a lot of damage, unnecessary or necessary. He's kind of good everywhere. He's exciting to watch. My only concern for him, and I mentioned this before, is he likes to drop into that guillotine a little too much. He's too comfortable fighting off his back with his jiu-jitsu skills. And Razabov is a very tough guy when he's on top. He can rain punches. He's hard to submit. I think if Martinez gets away from that, does not jump to guard, does not jump the guillotine, unless it's early on in the fight where they're not sweaty, I believe his output and his cardio is what gets it done. And we love underdogs once in a while, Coach, right? We love the value, especially when it makes a ton of sense. And to lead off the card, we've been pretty good at this. So I'm going to keep that streak going here. And we're going to lead off the ESPN 2 card with an underdog in Alexander Martinez.
I believe it's 3 or 4 different cards now that you have come right out of the blocks and nailed a underdog right out of the gate. All right. Fight number 2 on ESPN 2, the second fight in the playoffs for the lightweights. We're going to go Clay Collard. He's a minus 170 favorite over Aush Manfio, plus 150 as the underdog. What do you like?
I like Cassius Clay Collard here. Plus 7,000 to win the whole thing before this started, now plus 250. I know, for a reason. Look, no one expected him to beat Anthony Showtime Pettis, just based on the level of competition that Pettis has fought, yet these 2 guys both beat him. The difference was Collard was extremely dominant, minus a flying knee that gave us all a little bit of a scare there. Collard's combinations with his boxing, he does not get hit very much. Also, very capable on the ground, where Manfio should be better on the ground. He's just so comfortable being a counter striker and brawling. And against Collard, Not the way to go. I would have had Collard here at minus 190 to minus 200. We talked about this. We talk about value all the time. If this fight stays on the feet, because I believe it will, Clay Collard's going to box him up, and I will take Cassius Clay Collard here for the win.
All right, I like that a lot. And for those of you who are new to Combat Coach or new to MMA betting and you're wondering why these numbers we're throwing around are a little bit different than football, basketball, baseball, it's because it is different. Our baseline is minus 200 for a straight bet. Anything below that, we really take a hard look and say we can bet that straight. Anything above minus 200, we like to put it into a parlay to bring that number down. All right. With that being said, our next fight has a huge number next to it. The welterweights, Magomed Karamov. He is a beast, an absolute beast. Look at the number, minus 760. Sadabusi, plus 525. Clearly, Ian Parker, we cannot play this straight. So what do?
There may be value here at minus 760. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of hard it's weird. This is kind of one of those spots. No, I'm not kidding, but no, we're not going to, out of disciplinary reasons and to be smart and be profitable, we're not going to do that. Look, Khabib Nurmagomedov has given so much praise to Magomed Karamov. Man, that's so much syllables to say in a name. I really like Magomed Karamov here. Look, in the beginning of the season, he did not fight in his first one because of visa issues. So the former champ had to come back. And what he had to do, he had to get a win, had to get it quick, and he did by submission. He was smart against Curtis Millender. He's fighting someone in Sadabusi who is a very similar fighter, a kickboxer, not great on his back, and that's where Karamov is going to be. Just the advantage there is like a white belt to like a 20 millionth degree black belt, if that even exists. I expect Magomed Karamov to not waste any time, close that distance. He does not have anything to prove by knocking out a guy in C. C's got nothing to lose. He is not expected to win this. He's taking this on short notice. So expect Magomed Karamov to get this fight to the ground and probably win this one. Well, definitely win this one, but win it by submission.
All right, that's going to be way down to something we can play with. And the bottom line is Sadabusi, yes, he was scheduled to fight on this card. He was not scheduled to fight in the playoffs. So
correct.
How that changes for him, we don't know, but this is a bad matchup for anybody, but especially for Sadabusi. Now, on the other side of the bracket, it looks a little something like this. A fight that many thought when you looked at the fighters who were in it this season, this would be the finals for the $1 million. That's how lucky we are coming up on Friday night. Rory MacDonald, he's a very, very slight favorite at minus 115. Ray Cooper, also a beast, at minus 105. I know it's not easy, but you got to make a selection. What do you like?
I think the value here is in the Red King, Rory MacDonald. I think he should have been at least a minus 175. The loss to Tebow doesn't bother me because he didn't lose that fight. He didn't lose that fight, and I thought he looked very good. And look, Coach, we talk about this all the time. Now that we're in the playoffs, you don't have to worry about how you finish or how you win. With Rory in that last fight, he just needed to not lose badly. He was already guaranteed a spot. So maybe that held back here. With Ray Cooper, it's so obvious how this guy fights. His wrestling's underrated, but he uses it more defensively to keep the fight standing. He's got cement in his hands. This dude is like a Marvel villain throwing punches. I mean, the power he possesses is crazy. He'll send you to the shadow realm in a blink of an eye. But Rory MacDonald is a very cerebral fighter, high IQ. He's going to stay away from that right hand. He's going to angle to the jab. He will keep his distance. And when he's ready to shoot in, I think his angles and his speed is a little bit better than Cooper's. And I think he'll be able to control him on the ground. I think Rory also knows he does not want to take too much damage in this fight. He wants to be healthy to fight Magomed Karamov because he's going to need to be at 100% for that fight. It doesn't mean he looks past Ray Cooper. He just has so many more tools to win this one. You stay away from the power. You use your efficient striking and take this fight to the floor, and I say MacDonald gets the win.
We cannot emphasize it enough. It's very different in the playoffs as opposed to the regular season. So be very careful in your prop bets, in your decision bets, to understand these fighters don't have to impress. There is no fight night bonus that they're trying to get. They're trying to get to the finals, period. All right, very, very quickly on the recap. In your Parker's parlay, we're going to go Mercier Tebow Malatov plus 159. Then in the 4 playoff fights, you're going to take Martinez as our underdog play. Kay Collard Clay Collar, minus 170. Then Magomed Karamov by by submission. That will bring the number way down. And then Rory MacDonald straight, minus 115. Do not forget, for all of your best bets every single week, Bellator and PFL, we have the best bets over on the Early Edge. We do that every single week. And we will be on the DraftKings pre-fight show just prior to the fights on Friday night on ESPN Plus for all of your knowledge. Remember, knowledge is power, especially in MMA. All right, for Ian Parker, for Cody Mara, our incredible producer, I am the coach. Remember, every single week for Bellator, PFL, and UFC, we like to call it Combat Coach. Good luck.